What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing this evening? Welcome to another episode of Rickle Me Pick. Let me get this situated. And there we go. Welcome, everyone. And we have ourselves another weird episode, man. This is episode 26 of Rickle Me Pick. This is the post-show convo. And for those that, just finished watching the episode just like I did, it was another weird one. definitely another weird one. And I don't think it's gonna get any non-weirder from this point on. I think it's just gonna continue to get weird and weird. And I'm all here for it. I think at this point, you know what I mean? I think at this point we're all here for it. We just had an entire episode of Jerry trying to avoid fucking his mother. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a shot on that. So before we go ahead and dive into this quick recap, I just want to say thank you for everybody tuning into this post show convo on this late evening. If you're on the Eastern time zone, to all my people in the Western time zone, what's happening with you? You know what I mean? To everybody listening on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or however else you listen to your podcast, I appreciate y'all listening. And like I said, man, this is just a post-show convo. I like to keep it short. I like to keep it between 10 and 15 minutes, just a little recap. And then for those that have been following, Wednesdays, we got the full episode breakdown of Rickle Me Pick. And for those that don't know, Wednesdays, we have the full episode breakdown of Rickle Me Pick. And that's why I do Easter eggs, conspiracy theories, pay a little tribute to the ones we lost in each episode. Just get it, like a good in-depth of what I think the episode is, any continuity, any canons, just like I said, man, just a full breakdown of the episode, man. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I think with this episode, not only do I do the full episode breakdown, but it's the halfway point. We have officially reached the halfway point, and that's where I like to do like what I like to call a halftime show. You know what I'm saying? And I might have a little guest with me, I might not. But the halftime show, it's real in depth. It's longer than normal. So this week's episode will be a little longer than normal, man. I'm gonna have a lot coming this episode. So make sure you tune in this Wednesday. But let's go ahead and hit some of these keynotes for this episode. So it starts off, they're getting ready to go to the zoo, and Jerry's excited. He also says that the zoo reminds him of the water park where he always catches diarrhea. The beginning of this episode is funny because it ends with the end of the episode with the whole eating the zebra food. They tell Jerry, why are you eating the food to feed the animals? And they come to find out that the whole zoo has like this whole conspiracy where they want you to eat the food because it basically turns you into like a maniac. It was just fucking weird, man. So we got a couple TikTok references in it. You know what I mean? Obviously, Summer and Morty are all over TikTok. They turn Rick's, theme music into the taxi theme music because that's the new TikTok trend currently. Rick ain't feeling it. Jerry's the mockery of it. And the whole story begins because they go to Panda Express. They're eating there. Jerry throws a couple racial comments and he doesn't even realize they're racist against, Asians. They get these fortune cookies and everybody believes the fortune cookie. Like as soon as they eat it and read their fortune, they just instantly believe what they had. I believe Beth and Morty had the same one. And then Summer had something. They all had like something like real deep in real life, man. I can't remember it, man. Obviously, the only one I remember at this current moment is Jerry's, which Jerry said. And Jerry's fortune cookie was, "I'm gonna have sex with my mom," And that's basically from that point on, the entire episode was about Jerry trying to avoid having sex with his mom. I got to take another shot every time I think about Jerry trying to sleep with his mom. It's just disturbing. Mm. I thought the incest episode was bad. I think this episode was even worse, man. And just the way at the end, like right before he smacked his mom's cheeks, bro. Like the way it just fucking ripped his clothes off, had his mom just all spread eagle and shit. That shit was just fucking hilarious. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, let me see where I had. Oh, so obviously we know it's been a constant trend for the writers of Rick and Morty, Dan Harmon, Justin Roiland, especially to throw the shots, to throw the Marvel shots. You know what I mean? Usually they'll pick a certain character. Iron Man gets talked about a lot. They've talked about Guardians of the Galaxy. They're always throwing their Marvel shots. This episode was funny to me because they never said, or at least I didn't catch it the first time. Obviously, when I go back and watch it again, I'll pick up anything if it was said. But first rip, I didn't catch anything verbally about Marvel, right? But obviously, we seen right there at the breakfast table how he pulls out his Doc Ock arms, Dr. Octavius. You know what I mean? Is Marvel, Spider-Man. So he had the whole Doc Ock arms the entire episode. They were actually like something he used the entire episode. Not only that, man, but this episode goes to show a little more in depth of Rick's technology or technical capabilities, I guess I would say. His enhanced capabilities, because we see that in this episode he is very Inspector Gadget like. You know what I'm saying? Like he has a lot of gizmos and gadgets in his body. He has the eye that he uses as a telescope. His fingers, each do something. He got the Doc Ock claws. When he first gets into the shootout, you see he has even more weapons come out his back. So Rick is very, very tech savvy within his own body, which we already knew that, but now this episode we really got to see some of the extent of, I guess, his arsenal, I guess you would like to call, which kind of leads me to Jerry, because we all know after Rick said in episode 2, when Jerry turned himself into that little fucking cocoon shit, that he gave Jerry certain upgrades as well. So I'm curious to see what kind of capabilities Jerry has, because Rick and Jerry relationship, I would say, has definitely been a heavy one in season 6 comparing to others, at least in my opinion. I like the fact that the kids, as soon as they found out that he wanted to have, or that his fortune said he was going to have sex with his mom, I loved how the kids just completely tortured him about it, sending him DMs and creating little stuffed animals and hiding them in the closet so he would find it. Like it was fucking hilarious. And obviously Rick didn't find it so funny because he feels like no matter who he likes or dislikes, if you have a passion for something, you should be able to do it without, the justification or the glorification of somebody else trying to bully you of something you like to do. You know what I mean? Which is pretty much everybody today. If you caught that, if you caught that little drift, there's a lot of bullying, a lot of, mockery, especially when it comes to TikTok and shit. People love just making fun of somebody for doing something they like to do. You know what I'm saying? It may not be great. It may not be great as the next person, or it may not be famous, but people like to do what they like to do, and people will go out their way to make a mockery of it. So that's basic concept of it. And you know what I mean? In a subtle tone on a B-side, I feel like this episode, it was Rick on a mature level showing like some of the negative outcome and negative flaws of like social media and things like TikTok. You know what I mean? They kind of expressed, they even said the word TikTok in it. You know what I mean? They even called it TikTok. They called the app. So let's see. Rick had, I was laughing when Rick had Jerry do the penis box test, And no matter what, Jerry kept picking the same box that had the mother's name written in it. It started bothering Rick to the point because he thought fucking Jerry was fucking peeking. Um, Man, there was just a lot, man. We get to the Fortune 500 cookies. First of all, the company for the Fortune cookies is called Fortune 500, which we all know is just, you can call it what you want, man. It's the crooked side of America, man. That's where all the wealthy, you know what I mean, spend their time when it comes to their dollars and money and investing. And this they basically made a mockery of it using these cookies, basically using these alien cookies, which was basically alien shit that they turned into fortune cookies. And by eating it, you would believe the fortune that you read, like to a fullest, to where the point where like security guards were believing that they can't die, so they wouldn't die. Um, it turned into like a whole Pokemon Magic the Gathering type battle because like everybody had like attributes and shit, and like you were battling like fire versus water, and you know what I mean. It got really cool. The creature was called like Lockerin, which I actually gonna look into that because I think that's like a subtle tone for something else. Um, let's see what else I got. They obviously they had the Sailor Moon transformation for Jerry, which they ended up using again at the end of the episode when he was butt ass naked. And Rick, what was Rick's comment talking about? I could feel the savings because they said that's the reason they did it because they could just use the quick Sailor Moon shit and you know Jerry would be dressed already. Um, let's see what else did I got. What else might I have missed? They threw in the white tiger. Jerry's favorite animal was a white tiger, which for those that don't know, white tigers are not pure. They're incest animals or incest bred animals to be created as a white tiger. And the fact that Jerry's favorite animal was a white tiger, it was another joke for the family because, you know, obviously the whole incest thing, which in reality, I don't even know how Morty and Summer, I guess it's ironic that Morty and Summer were the ones torturing Jerry about the incest thing when they got a whole incest baby, you know, floating around fucking space and shit. Um, we got to see another Cronenberg in this episode. Now, I'm calling it a Cronenberg. We see when the female boss of the Fortune 500 turned herself into what I'm saying is a Cronenberg. It might be something different. I will look into it for Wednesday's episode, but I believe it was a Cronenberg, and she did know Rick's name, even though she tried to play like she didn't. She did know Rick's name. Mm. uh you know what I mean, it leads out, you know, so we have this whole thing. Rick ends up fixing the probability. He creates a fortune cookie saying Jerry will not sleep with his mom right before Jerry clapped her cheeks. And we, you know, we come to the end of the episode. Jerry wastes the last cookie as usual, writing Rick a handwritten fortune saying thank you, and he calls Rick his friend, which pisses Rick the fuck off because Rick's fortune cookie was he was going to meet a new friend. And Jerry's happy about it. Rick's not. He starts slapping the shit out of Jerry because he, you know, he's upset about it. Then he comes out with the quote. He's like, well, it didn't say it was permanent, so I don't think it's going to be permanent. Like, it's not. Um, but as Jerry walks in the house, we see Rick go ahead and slip it back in his pocket, which I mean, if you go back to last season with the Hellraiser episode, where he saved Jerry, I mean, come on, man. They built a whole Jerry Brie for the Jerrys. Whether Rick wants to admit it or not, this version of Rick wants to admit it or not, he does have a soft spot for Jerry. Jerry, maybe this version of Jerry and of all the other Jerrys isn't as bad to this version of Rick, obviously, you know, and Rick does appreciate his friendship because they are new friends now. So it's curious. I'm curious to see how that's what that's going to lead into. Will that just self implode and Rick just fucking turns into hate, or will Rick really, you know, well, I'm not going to say care because that's never going to happen, but will he really start backing Jerry up? I'm curious to see that. You know what I'm saying? He kind of did in this episode. He kind of did in this episode. At the same time, I think he was more curious on why he wasn't the center of attention. He meaning Rick. You know what I mean? I feel like Rick was more concerned on why he wasn't the center of attention, and somebody as lame, awkward, and boring as Jerry was the center of attention for this Fortune 500 company, which all in reality, it was just completely fucking random. Jerry just happened to get that cookie because the dude that was fucking putting the messages in the Fortune 500 cookies that was trying to shut down the whole operation said he just printed out like a stack like fucking this big of, you will have sex with your mom, because he was trying to put hidden messages in the cookies. uh which is kind of fucked up. Like, he said he put all these messages to help, and nobody ever fucking paid attention, so he started putting like, you will have sex with your mom and shit, so people could freak out. That's some. So what happened with all the other people? He's like, I don't know, I guess they fucked their moms, which is god damn it, which is kind of fucked up, man. Let me take it's yeah, yeah. Mm. So that's pretty much it, man. Like, the sum of the episode, uh they had a fortune cookie. Found out, Jerry read that he was going to fuck his moms. He believed it. Come to find out, they had a corrupt fortune cookie system with a alien pooping out fortune cookies. Um, Rick shuts the shit down as he normally does, and he hates the fact that now he has a friendship with Jerry. That's pretty much the sum of the episode right there, man. There's a lot in between, and like I said, come Wednesday, I'm gonna have the full breakdown, the Easter eggs, the conspiracies, the theories, the canons, the continuities. I mean, if it probably ends with a Y, I'm probably gonna have it, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but this episode, it was definitely a weird one, definitely a funny one, man. We reached a halfway point. You know what I'm saying? This is episode 5. Oh, speaking of which, maybe it was just me, but so this is episode 5. But then when I was watching it on Netflix, it said it was episode 7. So I'm curious now. Like, did they fuck something up? Because next week, episode 6, we have Jurassic Park. That's the episode with the dinosaurs. Now, I am gonna watch episodes 6 and 7 very closely now to see if they correlate with episode 5, to see if there was something, maybe, they had to just switch them around just because of the timeline or something. So I'm definitely going to watch that. You know what I mean? Like I said, we reached the halfway point. So come this Wednesday, I'm going to have a special, what I'm saying, halftime episode, breaking down the first 5 episodes, ranking the first 5 episodes from most favorite to not most favorite. Breaking down, what I'm saying, who's been the best character so far of the season, who's been probably the most disappointing character of the season, which characters do we hope to see later on in the season. We got villains that we know we're going to see at the end of the season. How we're going to see them, we don't know, but we know we're going to see them. Will we see Evil Morty again? Which, Rick obviously hates that term for him. What's up with the evil Rick? That's what I'm calling him, or original Rick. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of questions will be put out Wednesday. None of them will probably be answered. But well, you know what I'm saying? We got a Wednesday is gonna be a full episode, man. Like I said, it's gonna be the halftime show, breaking down the first 5, evaluating the first half of the season, what we can hope to expect for the next half of the season, any type of, what I mean, predictions that we would hope to see in the next half of the season, whether it's scenes, characters, situations, whatever the case may be, man. So, you know what I'm saying? That's the ending of, what I'm saying? That's pretty much going to wrap up this post-show convo. A little over than I wanted to, but it's all good. I started a little later than I wanted to. So, like I said, man, make sure you hear this Wednesday, 9 p.m. for Rick and Morty, or Rickle Me Pick, the full episode breakdown of final desmithation, and then we'll get ready for next week episode of Jurassic Mork. Man, these goddamn names be hard to say. Jurassic Mork, man. So, hey, it's been a pleasure. Glad y'all can come, what I'm saying, and join me on this evening. And until Wednesday, man, y'all have a great one. Y'all be safe. And I'll see you soon, my glip glops.